This video was chosen for production by my subscribers on Patreon. If you'd like to help pick the next one, the link is in the description. Hello everyone. Today's research video is about a character who only makes a very small appearance in the 8 famous engines and is not even afforded a proper name. They are often called the foreign engine, as they come from an unspecified place on the mainland, which Gordon later goes to in the story Gordon Goes Foreign, or otherwise the big city engine, due to the merchandise. In the 8 famous engines they are simply referred to as the engine or the other engine. They are referred to as the green engine in the famous engines book too. For clarity, I'll be referring to them as Big City Engine or BCE throughout this video, as that's what I most often call them. My aim is to find out what this visitor to Sodor's real number was, what they got up to during their working life, and what happened to them. Big City Engine belongs to the 52 strong class of LMS Patriot engines, built between 1930 and 1934. These engines were built for express passenger work, but were capable mixed traffic engines too. Let's try and narrow down the possible engines old BCE could be. The first 2 members of the class were rebuilt LNWR large Clawton class engines and retained their distinctive large Boss driving wheels, which our engine does not have. That takes our list of possible engines down to 50. Another example we can exclude is 45508, which was rebuilt with an admittedly very ugly stovepipe chimney in 1956, the year Gordon Goes Foreign was set. Our Patriot has the usual chimney, so will be one of the 49 remaining. Speaking of rebuilding, there was another, far more widespread and far more obvious rebuilding of the Patriot class. Between 1946 and 1949, spanning the period of nationalisation, 18 Patriot class engines were rebuilt into the aptly named Rebuilt Patriot class. These had tapered boilers with top feeds, different cabs and tenders, and wore more angular smoke deflectors. It can clearly be seen that Big City is an unrebuilt example, and they have no top feed and the usual smoke deflectors. As such, they will be one of the other 31 engines. As previously stated, Gordon Goes Foreign occurs in 1956, and by this time all members of the Patriot class that would have received a name had got them. The names were worn on curved plates above the frontmost splasher. Our engine can be clearly seen to have no nameplate, so is not one of the 22 named Patriots left with the correct wheels, chimney and unrebuilt design. This leaves 9 possible engines. They are 45510, 45513, 45517, 45542, 45544, 45547, 45549, 45550 and 45551. I think the best way to narrow down these engines is to try to work out when Big City Engine came to Sodor that day they argued with Gordon and Duck and hoped to exclude some engines. I think that Gordon Goes Foreign most likely happens in the summer of 1956, probably in August. In the preceding story, Percy Takes the Plunge, black-headed gulls can be seen. These only have the dark plumage on their heads around March until July. As all the birds in the image have this, it's likely set from May onwards, as birds get their dark hoods at different rates, so the whole flock having the dark head is likely significantly into the mating season. Also, it is almost dark by high tide. I gathered the sunset and high tide times for May, June and July 1956 as accurately as I could, which was a lot of work and in the end kind of pointless. Still, I put in the hours, so here is what I found. Combining high tide and sunset times, this could either be the 6th or the 21st of May, the 6th or the 20th of June, or the 6th or the 19th of July. So, we know Percy Takes the Plunge takes place on one of these days, but there is nothing I can do to narrow down which one it is. But we know this story takes place in July or before. Still, Big City Engine visits after this time and before the events of Doubleheader. Throughout Gordon Goes Foreign, people can be seen in summer clothes, so it is likely the height of summer. The story following Gordon Goes Foreign, Doubleheader, shows passengers wearing scarves and hats, with some trees losing their leaves, which really starts to happen in earnest in October. A man can be seen with a gun and a retrieve dog, and in the UK the shooting season starts in late summer and goes on until autumn. This information is more helpful in placing BCE's visit to Sodor, as James is said to be doing Gordon's work to give him a rest after his return from London. This suggests Gordon Goes Foreign happened sometime after May 1956, but also not too long before doubleheader, probably within the last month to 6 weeks, suggesting therefore that Gordon Goes Foreign takes place in about August 1956. Looking at the history of the Patriots which are still possible, some of these were in the workshop throughout August and can therefore be removed as possible contenders for the Patriot in the story. 45544, 45547, 45549, 45550 and 45551 were all in the workshop throughout August, and overall these engines occupied the works from July to November of 1956, so we can discount them all as our possible Patriots. That leaves 4 engines: 45510, 45513, 45517 and 45542 as our possible engines. Looking at their allocations, 45542 was only shedded in London from 1934 to 1935 in Kentish Town. This shed serves St Pancras, not Euston, so cannot be BCE as they've not worked at the station they claim London is. 45513 was shedded at Kentish Town 2 between 1932 and 1935, as well as a spell at Camden from 1935 to 1941. Camden does serve Euston, but as the engine had served in 2 different London stations, it doesn't make sense that they thought London was only one of them. Of our 2 remaining engines, both spent their time in London allocated to Camden and Willesden sheds, which both serve Euston. 45517 worked at sheds that exclusively went to Euston if the train was bound for London. 45510 did not, working at both Holbeck and Carlisle-Durrenhill, which serve St Pancras. As such, I believe 45517 is the real big city engine. BCE was built on the 6th of February 1933 as part of Lot 95 at Crewe Works. Their works number was 96 and they were built at a cost of £6,600. They were initially finished in LMS Crimson Lake livery and wore the number 5952. 3 weeks after entering service, they were loaned to Bangor for 11 weeks. Their first permanent placement was at Camden, where they stayed from May 1933 until July 1935, with a 16-week spell at Edge Hill earlier in 1935. On the 14th of July 1934, their number was changed to 5517, but they only ever carried the original LMS Crimson Lake livery. The rest of 1935 was spent at Longsight and Ashton Sheds, before a 2.5-year stay at Preston Sheds. They left Preston in February 1939 and spent 2 weeks at Crewe North, before a loan straight back to Preston, which was made permanent until September. Next they went to Carlisle Upperby, then a return to Ashton for a fortnight, and then over a year at Rugby until May 1941. From there they made another return, this time to Longsight until May 1942. 2 years at Crewe North came next, followed by almost 4 years back at Edge Hill. After 16 weeks at Crewe North again, Big City Engine moved to Carlisle Upperby for 5 years, where they received their first new livery, as they did not receive updated Crimson Lake livery, Wartime Black, LMS Black, or British Railways Apple Green, lined or unlined black. On the same day, the 15th of September 1949, a number 4 was added to their number, giving them the British Railways number 45517. On the 13th of June 1953, Big City Engine moved to London and stayed at Willesden Shed until July 1958. It was from here they visited Sodor and met Gordon and Duck, which is where this research video began. On the 26th of July 1958, they went on loan to Bank Hall, which was made permanent on the 2nd of November, which was to be their last shed. They were withdrawn from here on the 8th of June 1962, having travelled at least 1,295,802 miles. They were cut up at Crewe Works a month later. I hope you like this research video, everyone. Quite often I'll start a project and leave it unfinished, and so would like to thank one of my patrons, Neo, for sharing his ideas with me, which prompted me to pick up where I left off and finish the project. I'll link to their Twitter page in the subject of this video. Big City Engine was voted for by my patrons as the next character they'd like to have a research video made about. I have another research video that I hope to have ready in a month or so, also picked by subscribers. More of these votes will be coming soon. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to the Patreon like these fine folk to help pick the next video subject, get early access to new content and help support the channel.